Dude, I look like a freaking. What's up? My name is Steff Johnson. I write poetry, and welcome to a series where I explain my work. I feel like I've been talking for too long, so here's the poem titled Guidance.
I look for things that don't speak to give me guidance. I look off into the distance when I'm in private, thinking what if? And I ain't scared to start a problem or solve one. It's like a door that keeps on revolving, or like the season of autumn.
The reason for this series is because I write and I post a lot of poetry. And so on this series, hopefully I have an opportunity to explain some things, go a little deeper, give context, pose the questions like this poem. I look to things that don't speak to give me guidance. I look off into the distance when I'm in private, thinking what if? And I ain't scared to start a problem or solve one. It's like a door that keeps on revolving, or like the seasons of autumn. This first line, I look to things that don't speak to give me guidance. I speak with my sister a lot. And just one day, a couple months ago, I was sort of rambling about how much time we spend alone. And ever since I was a kid, I was always taught to look to other people to get guidance. But now I'm getting older, I'm realizing you spend so much time alone. And it's like, even when I'm around people, like, who can I lean into to get guidance? It sort of leads me to like look to anything. Like there's no way that guidance isn't around me. So why won't I look off? And it leads to the next line. I look off into the distance when I'm in private, thinking what if? So as you start to have these sparks to want guidance, you look off to these non-speaking entities, you genuinely look off, like you stare off. And the interesting thing is more recently I'm trying to capture the thing that sparked this look for guidance, you know, and it happens in such a heartbeat. And I realized, like the end of this line, the thinking what if seems to be what either starts or what stops this thinking process, this looking off. And the interesting thing about all of this is the middle of the poem. So there's a lot of cool things that come when I think of the middle of the poem. I believe that should be the turning point. Things should either get more dull, should get more spicy, or things should get opened up a lot more. You should change perspective. This what if sort of ties in with the next line. I ain't scared to start a problem or solve one. The interesting thing about what if is it either starts or it stops that deep thinking process. But whenever I'm posed with this question of what if, I go to a place that doesn't exist, and it's like everything is dependent upon me. Or if it's something that I reflect on the past, it's like I could have made a different decision that changed the world. And every time I look back, it's probably never the case. What if someone walked in this room? Like, I would yoke them up. You know, I would put them in a full Nelson. I would yoke them up so fast. I would feed them a 15-piece with the side of spite. Within the same breath, if like a world diplomat walked in, I would shake their hand to bring world peace. If a hungry person walked in, I would give them the last food that I have.
I would feed them a 15-piece.
You know, and the only issue that I have is every time I get to these what if moments, it's always the first. You know, I would put them in the full Nelson. You know, the violent reaction. And I don't know. I hate that that's my intuition, that's my instinct, that's my go-to. And that leads to the next line. It's like a door that keeps on revolving, or like the seasons of autumn. When I mentioned this door thing, I was trying to introduce the binary system of either or. You know, the door is either open or closed. You know, it's either I'm solving the problem or I'm causing the problem. There's no in between. This door analogy to like explain what it seemed like the fundamental way of thinking about it. Another interesting thing too is the door sound that you hear during the recording.
It's like a door that keeps on revolving, or like the season of autumn.
I don't have any control over any of the recordings. I kind of do it on my phone, and it's really based off of how smooth I enunciate everything. And I don't sort of change things in the background. So to hear that hinge squeak in the background was so hard to me. So I like to think of it as the audio version of this poem is featuring the Holy Spirit, because that's nothing else that could have done that. But back to the poem. And then the last line, or like the seasons of autumn. I love nature. I try to put nature in my poem at any time because it's so deep and full of wisdom. It was kind of like a step back. Like I introduced the binary system of the door and how precise that is, but I also introduced the vagueness of seasons, and that's pretty precise as well. And the question that I asked myself to get to that point was, is my reaction to start or to solve a problem, you know, is that normal or natural? Is it as normal as a door swinging on a hinge? Or is it as natural as a season occurring? And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't have the answer. I never write looking for the answers. Sometimes I put myself in a bundle trying to find an answer and realizing that answer is only for me, so it's really not a valid answer. But yeah, that's all I got. Stay tuned. I plan on doing this a lot more often. I write and I post a lot, so stay tuned. Yeah, I'm out.